We love old cemeteries and churchyards, so come with us as we explore these places for the past. Those of you who have watched our Almost Art Cheadle Cemetery episode will wonder where we went at the end where we said to be continued. Well, this is the to be continued. This is St Mary's Church, and this is Cheadle Village's old cemetery, which you can see sort of over there. We're now going to go and have a wee look. We came here before on the day we did the other episode, and yeah, it's quite impressive, so I think this is going to be quite interesting. Well, I hope it's going to be quite interesting, or I'm just wasting everybody's time, including my own. There are lots of stones lying down in the cemetery and around the front of the church, but there's a family sitting around there having a picnic, so I can't show you too much around there. But let's see what we can see around here. Okay, but this is an example of the stones that are on the ground, so let's have a look. Somebody, Hyam, who departed this life, that must be March, CH 19th, 1799, in their 77th year, and lots of other members of that family. I'm going to get manky hands here really quickly. It's all covered in rather nice blossom from that tree. And this one is a lottie. It's actually Charlotte, but a lot of it is behind the grass. Charlotte, wife of Joshua, who died in 1826. So yeah, this is quite an old cemetery, as we promised you. Nothing here is very modern. Over here there's all the standy-uppy stuff, so let's go and have a look at that. And then of course we'll come back and meet the great and the good with all the posh tombs. I don't think I've ever seen so many gravestones making a pavement. It's all laid down sort of side by side. I wonder if this is the original burial locations and these stones were originally lying down, because as I've said before, they don't appear to have any bit at the bottom that's ever been underground, so I'm guessing you get buried and then the slab gets put on top of you. We've had some nice comments about graveyards under trees and graveyards with like plant life and stuff, but how's that? That's quite a pretty pink tree and quite a pretty sunlight dappled graveyard. This place is really showing itself off to its best advantage today. So this is the back wall of the cemetery. The church is sort of around that corner over there. And back here we have got Elizabeth Millington, beloved wife of Walter Millington, who died in 1925, aged 54, and their son George, who died in 1899, aged 6. And next to the Millingtons we've got Margaret, wife of Thomas Clayton, who died January the 6th, 1918. So although this is 1900s, it's all very early 1900s. This next one will be the same, I guess. Remembrance of Thomas Brown of Answood, which is a place near here, who passed away October 1915, aged 49. There shall be light at eventide, apparently. And further down we've got his widow Mary Jane, and then their daughter Mary Jane, who died October the 12th, 1894, aged 10 days. Somebody's cross has fallen off, that is in loving memory of Annie, wife of Joseph Worthington, who died 1880 something, 1889 possibly, and Grace down there, their daughter of Joseph and Anne Worthington, who died in 1895, and the cross that has fallen off is now a feature there. There's another nice view of that amazing pink blossom tree over the graveyard. This would be not a bad place to end up, I think. And against the outside wall at the back, it's Benjamin Richardson, who died September 1906, aged 79. And there is Elizabeth, the twin daughter of Benjamin and Emma Richardson, who died 1896 in her 22nd year. And Hannah, the beloved wife of John Hurst and twin daughter of the above. Alright, so both the daughters made it to a reasonable age. She was aged 60, well she was only 22 I suppose, but that is Hannah and Elizabeth, the twins. So standing up we've got Samuel from 1909, aged 71, that's like an upside down 2, at rest. And next to him lying down we've got Sacred to the memory of William Windle, the beloved husband of Sarah Swindles. That must be Swindles, yeah it is Swindles as it is there, who died in 1894, aged 66. Gone from memory, not gone from love. He's gone to his father's home above. Sorry, I'm a little bit obsessed with these pink flowers. I've never really paid them much attention before, but now that I'm trying to do pretty images for you guys, I'm kind of like, oh, there's some flowers, let's get a close-up of the flowers, just in case you don't know what pretty pink blossom flowers look like. As you know, I do love the variation in the sort of font and the calligraphy, because there's in loving memory in a big sort of arc, and there's in loving memory of a big arc, and that is from 1891. Next to that, past another sort of very ornate and loving memory of Richard Bishop Connors, who died in 1891. We've got in bold, this guy is using the bold font on his tombstone design in memory of Emerson Wood of Edgeley. Edgeley is a place in Stockport, which is, it's not far away, but it's not particularly close. You think they'd be somewhere closer. Anyway, he died in 1894, aged 63. And Mary E. Wood, the wife of the above, who died in 1891. Oh, go on then, another view of the pink flowers. I don't imagine that is going to be the last. I quite like this one, apart from all the rather nice carving at the top, because it's got an inscription that I see in a few places that I think is, it always makes me think about what these people's lives were actually like. This is William McLean, who died in 1918, Mary, the wife of William McLean, who died in 1918, aged 62. Life's wearing pain and suffering are past, peacefully sleeping, resting at last. And then William, who sounds like a barrel of laughs, after long suffering, patiently born, and Herbert, the beloved son, suffer little children to come unto me. This is a very cheerful tombstone, and at the bottom they've got William, who is at rest. He's not got any sort of long and suffering and life suffering and weariness thing going on. He's just having a wee rest. Right, so we're going to move further down through this field of tombstones, past more pretty pink flowers. I'll shut up about the pink flowers at some point, but not yet. I get the feeling that's not going to be the last time you see them. And let's see if we're heading backwards in time. This is Thomas Savage of Bridge Hall Farm, Adswood, who died in 1890. So yeah, we are going back a wee bit. And there's Mary, daughter of James and Mary, and she died in 1890. Thy will be done. Yeah, this is getting older and older, and I know for a fact when we get over here it gets even older, and some of the laying down ones round at the front of the church, if those people have finished their picnic, I will show you, because they are back into the 1700s. So I'm guessing as we move closer into the church, which is now over there, it's getting a bit older. This one's quite impressive, isn't it? It's if you look round about, it's all headstones, and this guy has got a big granite lump. And this is and in memory of his niece Frances Hyam of Garfield Cheadle, who died in 1914. So I'm guessing the actual guy who had that put up, and I'm assuming it's a guy, is on the other side, in memory of John Fernihoch of Highfield House, Cheadle, who died in 1885, aged 75. May he rest in peace. Next to them, there's some interesting calligraphy going on. This is one of the comments people have said. They like the different fonts, and I must admit, so do I. And that is William Baddeley, who died in 1887, aged 32. In the midst of life, we are in death. And again, it's got that thing where William's name is carved into the stone, and then there's John Lomas, but he's carved into a bit that is carved back. Always makes me think this bit has been sort of redone, like they've changed the name or something. Anyway, he died in 1895, aged 42. And Eliza, again, who is not in a recessed bit, in 1897. Maybe that's just like for effect. Maybe that's so when you walk past, that's the name that you see first. A bit of one-upmanship over old William up there. We did quite like the other Cheadle cemetery, the newer one, but this is quite impressive. This is, let's have a look at this massive one down here, sacred to the memory of George Walker, who died in 1860. So see, we're getting further back into the 1800s, but we're heading across to have a look at this cross, and I'm going to try and do it without burping again, because that was gross. Sorry. A nice cross. There's another striking image, the cross against the red bricks in the background. Well, I think it's quite striking. I think that's quite nice. In loving memory of William Henry Kearsley, who died in 1895, aged 65. Oh, for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of a voice that is still. Oh, and also his wife, who was called Amelia, his wife, who died in 1901. I suppose the only cleaning these things get is just with the seasons, the wind and the stuff on top decomposing and things. That's a shame, because eventually they'll all be sort of lost from view, and then the people will be lost from memory. But for now, you can still read some of them. So and that is Thomas, somebody's son, who died in 1850, and that is a bit soggy, that one. And against the back wall, ooh, what's against the back wall? Let's go for a wee look. Right, I said go for a wee look. Let's move some vegetation. Well, this looks old. Here lies the body of Charlotte Knowles, who, bloody blah, the 16th day of January AD 1817, does that say? You can see it better than me because I've got my arm going through this jiggy bush. Right, so it's not actually that old. It's 1817, aged 11 months. Next to them there's one that is gone, and next to them there's a little bit of a cross top, and next to that there is in memory of Thomas Bunton, who died in 1872. Lots and lots of lying down gravestones. Let's go and say hello to the people who could afford these things, which are quite monumental, in memory of Emma Dykes. So although the leading has gone from the letters, you can still see the imprint of where it was. I'm guessing that's because the lead protected the sandstone behind from erosion, so when the lead falls out you've still got the raised image. Emma Dykes, who died in 1906. And next to Emma we've got Mary Jane, wife of William Woodall of Cheadle, who was born 1840, died 1897. And yeah, that is the tallest one we've got in this part of the cemetery. I like the little verse at the bottom. He loved her, no tongue can tell how much he loved her and how well. God loved her too and thought it best he'd take her to his heavenly rest. I bet old William wished that he hadn't bothered. We're getting closer into the church, and we're getting even bigger and bigger tombstones, which this one is not going to be erased by any sort of erosion anytime quickly. It is in memory of John Scott of Stockport, who died on the 10th of March 1849, with a punctuation provided by a seagull. Another quite imposing family vault, and this is in memory of John Naden of Orish Mere's house, which must be round about these parts somewhere. I might do a bit of googling and find out where that actually is. And Eliza, his wife, and Louisa, his fourth daughter of John and Elizabeth. Also William Henry, their son. Yeah, so it's a family crypt, and quite an imposing one. And the latest date on this is 1914, so it goes from 1860 at the top there down to 1914, and that is Robert Samuel Naden, who only just fitted in because they've got his name there, but then the rest of it is on the edge of the stone. I do like stuff like that, where they've had to like squeeze things in and be a bit inventive. But the old sandworm has got in here as well. That is in memory of Sarah, wife of, and then it's all just about gone. That's a shame. That's quite a nice stone, but yeah, if you want a tombstone that's going to last forever, do not make it out of sandstone. How often do we have to tell you? Especially when it looks like it's got a good story. Who was lost? Lost at sea, possibly? That's a guess, but it's an educated guess. A story there that is now unfortunately lost. And next to them we have got, who's this? Mabel Worthington, born November the 20th, 1882. Oh, and died November the 30th, 1882. And behind wee Mabel we've got Sarah, and this is a word that we have learnt since we started doing this channel, because we didn't know it before. Relict just means widow, so it's Sarah, the relict of the late John Cheadle of Stockport. And I'm trying to get my camera level with the text. It turns out I'm not the problem. The tombstone is actually on a slope. it's falling over sideways. That's quite a nice stone as well, isn't it? Because it's got the openwork cross at the top. That must have been a fair bit of work for the mason, and then down here it's got a thing. It's got a sort of symbol. It's not a cross. I thought it was a cross, but it's got a thing at each end, and then I thought maybe it was a sword. But it's not a sword either. It's just a thing. He's from Burslem in Cheadle. It's Thomas Crillon Scott, who departed this life 1857, and also Anne. I'm guessing that's going to say his wife. Yep, and his wife down there on the side of his tomb. Yeah, very nice. Right, let's keep going, or we're never ever going to make any progress. I'm now going to say something that I'm probably going to prove myself wrong with quite soon, because this graveyard seems to predate the First World War mostly. There are no Commonwealth War graves in here that I've seen, and I didn't see the sign on the way in, and there's a magpie for added ambience. Morning, Mr. Magpie. Yeah, I might have just been chasing a magpie through a graveyard like an absolute nut job. Anyway, in memory of Edward Heath, in memory of Edward Heath, who departed in 1879, and this is a symbol. Another thing we've learned since we started doing this channel, that is a broken column. Now I used to just think that the broken column was just like a broken column and the other bit was lying about somewhere. It's not. That actually symbolises a life cut short. Okay, I've sort of half contradicted myself about the Commonwealth War graves, because this one is not a Commonwealth War grave, obviously, so I'm still claiming that I was right. But it's Alfred Midwinter of Cheadle. Midwinter, that's a nice name, isn't it? Alfred Midwinter of Cheadle, who died in 1888, aged 61, and Martha, his wife, who died in 1887, and Alfred Preston Alt, I wonder if Alt was his nickname, or that's probably his nickname, beloved husband of Emily Midwinter and grandson of the above, who died in 1919. But down below them we've got Sergeant Wilfred Midwinter, grandson of the above, killed in action in France in 1916, aged 26. This guy had obviously earned a lot of respect from his colleagues. You'll get that joke in a second. Anyway, that is in loving memory of James S. Armstrong, beloved husband of Adeline Armstrong, and he died in 1907, then Adeline died in 1919, and down the bottom there wee Fanny, who died in 1884 and is now sheltered from the storms of life. And the earned the respect thing is because they gave him, this stone is placed here by the staff of Cheadle Royal as a token of respect for their late colleague, Mr. James Armstrong. Now, not Dr. Armstrong, but Mr. Armstrong. Maybe he was a consultant, or maybe he was something else. And also as an acknowledgement of the many kindnesses received from him during his service in the hospital, I guess? Yeah, hospital. There you are. So a wee thing from his colleagues saying what a great man he was. So you will have noticed we're still in the mid to late 1800s. There's Joseph Clark, who is from February 23rd. Then, as is often the case, the only bit from that line that's missing is the bit with the date. But he was 65 in whatever year that was. And next to him we've got, in memory of Pascoe Meredith, there's a name we haven't seen before, from 1903, and then John Hudson of Cheadle Heath, again a bit near here, 1897. I do wonder if, when, etc., these slabs on the ground are ever cleared, but I'm guessing probably not, so they're all getting a bit covered in moss, and again, as I keep saying, to use a phrase that I like using, they are fading from view and fading from memory. There's another one with a recessed bit, but the recessed bit in this case is not a name. This is gone but not forgotten, on the stone of Sarah Wood, who died in 1889. And oh, look at the little ladybird who must be heading for better weather there. I know it's not exactly a robin singing, but there's a wee ladybird. Oh, it looks like it's gone all shy. And you probably can't hear it on this microphone, but the bird song is also quite nice. This is the middle of a bustling wee commuter village, and it's this bit is so peaceful. Graveyards are always a great place to seek out if you want a bit of peace and quiet, apart from the obligatory YouTuber walking about talking to himself. And another tip for longevity on your gravestone is don't go for the lead approach unless you want people to try to figure out what it says by filling in the gaps. In loving and affectionate remembrance of Agnes Rose, wife of James Edward Platt, I guess, of Bruntwood, Cheadle, who died in 1883, and that used to have a nice big cross in it. It's not anymore because the nice big cross is lying there. I do like this one. This man obviously has some delusions of sort of medieval knighthood because he's got quite a fancy font. Unfortunately, the quite fancy font means that old, I think that says Graham William something of Cheadle Heath, possibly. Yeah, you can't actually read a date on that anywhere. I'll just have a quick scan down and see if I can see it. Sometimes I see it when I'm actually editing the videos, but nope, can't see a date on that one. Is anything? October 20th. Oh, there we go. I'll trace it out. 1882. And people have crosses with carved ivy on them. Well, there's a cross that's got some actual ivy growing up it. That is that's quite photogenic. That is you can't actually see it. It is the eldest son of the Reverend F.A.M.A. and then rector of something, and Dora, his wife, who died in 1891. And also Frederick Augustus, who entered into his rest, I guess, in 1916. For 34 years he was the rector of this parish, I guess. Now, this is quite interesting, well, for a given value of interesting, but all the stones in this cemetery so far, the ones that are standing up anyway, have been quite legible. You get down here, which is against the front wall, I'm going to call it, this bit here with a big cross in memory of Arthur Platt Higgins, and then yeah, these are all legible. That is John Unsworth, but then you get somebody who went for not very high quality sandstone, and as a result there is nothing on that is left to see at all. And next to that, just in case you think that's a fluke, there is in memory of, and then that's all gone as well. And also Enoch, who died in 1893. Just about did a squeak there. I thought I said 1693. It doesn't, it says 1893. We're looking for the most impressive stone in the place, like we always do, and I think in this cemetery it may well be this one over here, which has got a sort of Celtic type cross, and that is Mary, wife of Thomas Hardcastle Sykes of Kringle House, Cheadle, daughter of John Platt MD Oldham, who died in 1875, and the above Thomas Hardcastle Sykes DLJP, Justice of the Peace, an important man who died in 1901. Ah, right, important, yes. This is also Sir Alan John Sykes, Baronet DL, I don't know what DL is, of Southview, Cheadle, MP for Knutsford 1910 to 1922, and son of Thomas and Mary. I thought there was nothing much to see actually when I first came here. There's lots of tombstones lying down, but the more you dig into it, the more impressive this place gets. And that's there's some roses carved onto that, which again must have been quite a big. I know how they carve stone, obviously, but I can't imagine the amount of work that goes into doing something like that. And that is Mary, relict of the late Joshua Pritchard, who died in 1874. In Christ she died. What more can words express? And then John, their son, and then John himself, I guess. No, that's John, and then Joshua. There must be a Joshua on here somewhere. Nope. There are some grander stones down this way as well. That is Annie, the second daughter of Robert and Anne Greenhoch, and they've got their own obelisk. And that is Robert of Riverside, Didsbury, late of Ashley House, Cheadle, who died in 1878. And on the front we'll have the main sort of, Anne is the main person, and wife of Robert Greenhaw of Ashley House, Cheadle, who died in 1876. That's quite cool. That one has got its surviving little cast iron thing around it. Now, a lot of these were taken away during the war because metal was needed to make munitions and make tanks and ships and stuff. So it's nice, interesting that survived. I wonder if it's put in again after the First War. No idea. Anyway, that is Charles Faulkner, who died in 1912, aged 65. Ignore the terrible continuity. We've come round the front of the church because there's nobody having a picnic, and there are lots and lots of noisy motorbikes, lots and lots of stones in the ground. And this one, as an example, here was interred Sarah Bancroft, who died in 1788. And next to Sarah, here lieth the body of Thomas Pearson, who departed this life March. Oh, that's I can't see what that says, but I can see what that says all right. 1710. That's so we're right back into the early 1700s now. There's also ones here from the 1800s, mid 1800s, early 1800s. Yeah, that is 1805 there. And next to that we have got 1817. So yeah, these stones at the front are all well back in time. These are really, really quite old. Amongst the oldest ones we've actually seen down in England so far. And this is quite pretty. I do like these little pansies or violas or whatever they are. No doubt you can tell me, but this is, I don't know, an old sandstone something. It's the remains of an old cross. Actually, it'll tell us on this. I'll shut up and just read it. This cross was restored by loving friends to the glory of God in memory of Charles James Cummings, M.A., for 26 years rector of Cheadle, and he died in 1873. So that's the wee memorial to the ex-rector. Right, this is take 4 because I couldn't actually read the word employees. Anyway, this is a nice wee entrance sort of porch thing, and it was erected in memory of the late Colonel J.H. Deacon by his employees and friends, AD 1883. And as you walk in, it says, "Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord." And you walk through that and then into the church grounds. I wish you could read more of these stones. Again, I'm just dying to come back with a stiff broom and give them all a bit of a brush. Well, let's see if we can see anything interesting on these. It says there that is a slippery surface, so if you're stupid enough to fall off a log, you've been warned. Oh, and these ones are really old. The body of Ellen Taylor, late of wife of George Taylor, who died in 1701. Oh, I wonder if we can get back into the 16 somethings. That one is 1718, and this one is 1707, I think that says 1707. Unfortunately, you can't really see who it's to. Catherine. Here lies the body of K8, yeah, Catherine something, but you can't read any more on that one. But, wait till you see what I've just seen, if I haven't just shown you it by mistake. 1629. There is a W there, I think, under that moss, so that'll be the initials of the person. Oh yeah, and at the top it says 1615, yeah. Right, so yeah, this is definitely one of the oldest stones that we have found so far. That is from the very early 1600s. I wonder if there's any more. Oh, unfortunately, I can't see anything else in the 1600s. This one is 1769. Is that a 5 or a... maybe 1759. I never thought it would be at the stage where mid-1700s is too new, but yeah, the 1600s one is just over there. And this is one, if you saw our teeny little preview bit on the Cheadle video, this is a stone that I wanted to come back and have a better look at, because this is in memory of Richard James Walker, I guess, who died February 1880 something in his 54th year, and Martha, wife of Charles Walker again? Yeah, I think so, yeah. And I love this bit, gatekeeper at the Salford House of Corrections, and he died in 1844, and then various other members of the family. And down the bottom there's a little thing that says, where he is not is like a it doesn't say comb, you idiot, it says tomb. Right, let's do that again. Where he is not is like a tomb, and the sunniest spot is turned to gloom. I thought that said comb, sorry. Right, I think that's enough crawling about on the ground looking at these, although they are, to be fair, very interesting. There's quite a nice one, that is Sarah, and again, somebody has removed, guessing they were doing a metal cross there that's been removed or pinched or something. Daughter of Joseph and Elizabeth Wetton, who died in 1855. But we're heading across here for a quick look at the greater and the gooder, and also this wee stone here that is standing up, because that looks quite old. Lots and lots of tombstones buried in the ground that I can't read, but this one looks like it might have some, yep. Here lieth the body of John Brown of Cheadle. Cheadle is a little village not far from here, and possibly the most boring place in the world. Yeoman who departed his life in February the 8th, again, Masonic mistake there, aged 40 years. And Margaret, his wife, who departed his life September the 22nd, and she's got her ND in big letters just to make up for the fact that his TH isn't there, 1832. Yeah, it is quite old. It says, here resteth, and that F is actually an S, here resteth the body of Abraham Beswick, who died October the 13th with the TH above. It's got a 1 there as well, I don't know what the 1 is for, who died October 13th, 1778, aged 88 years. And Elizabeth, wife of the above, who died March 20th, 1770, aged 70. And this one is sacred to the memory of James Arnold, and it's quite a big sarcophagus style tomb, and I've tried to say that 3 times. This is take 3. James Arnold, Esquire of Aswood, late of Norwood, Surrey, who departed this life the 10th of September 1848, aged 54. And it says, a warning, watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour when the Son of Man cometh. And yeah, I thought it was during that last eclipse, but that didn't happen. So I wonder when the next end of the world is coming, according to all the people who keep predicting the end of the world. There's another stone that is completely gone. There is one letter left on it, and the rest of it is all just flaked off. And there's something in memory of somebody who died at some point aged, oh no, you can see the year, 1870, aged there, 55 years. And behind them, this is in memory of John and Maria Jennison of the Zoological Gardens, Bellevue in Manchester. It says, erected by their affectionate children in 1870, so that's quite nice. And it's the only one I can see in the cemetery with the draped urn at the top. That is a really, really imposing monument, and yeah, I do quite like that one. It's a lovely colour. That pink granite is just so nice. Oh, it's German. I was trying to read that, and I said, why can't I read that? And I can't read it because it is in German. It says, right, any of our German followers, I know there's at least 2 of you, so come on in. Does that say, here lies Alfred Lowe, aged 4 years, died the 14th of August 1854, and it says in Chemnitz, that might be a place actually, I've got no idea, I'm now totally making it up. Ruhr, Seiner, yeah. If you speak German, I apologise for what I've just done to your language. And down the bottom it says, in loving memory of our parents, Richard Higgins Lowe, born in 1819, died 1870, and also of Ernestine Louise, Ernestine, that's a name I've definitely never seen before, who died in 1895. And children of the above, Alfred Septimus, Eugene Alexander, Albert and Emily Louise. I wonder why poor wee Albert only got one name. Alfred got Septimus. What an amazing wee graveyard. What a great place to stop out. And that magpie is still following me. I don't know what it's expecting, but I don't have anything for you, Mr. Magpie. Right, okay, I know I said I was finished, but then I spied this on the way out, and that's another. These are all so sort of grand and very, very imposing, and just your tomb was just a status symbol. Right, it took me longer than I want to admit to actually read what this said, because it's not standard wording at all, if there's such a thing. It says, this tomb is erected by their affectionate daughters to designate the place where the remains of their beloved parents were deposited, that they may approach it with sympathetic, approach it with sympathetic regret and respect their memory by, what does that say there? Imitating their virtues. Right, so that says, this tomb is erected by their affectionate daughters to, I was going to do it really quickly there, like I was just going to reel it off like I could read it, but I've fallen at the first hurdle. We'll just leave that. It says, you know what it says now. Go back and watch it again if you want to know what that one says. Because honestly, my brain has just gone, right, enough, let's go and get something to eat. Now they're just trying to mess with my head, because that says, he jacket or hick jacket, William Crozier, surgeon, and then it is Q obit, sort of who died, 3rd of October 1795. Age 20, is that? Yeah, it must be, yeah. Also Amelia, daughter of Robert, so it goes from whatever language that is, Latin I'm going to guess, but I'm not entirely sure, to English, just to mess with my head. And actually the big chunky tomb with the dedication from the daughters is this one, and on top of it it's also got that hick jacket, Richard, son of Robert Crozier, surgeon at Cheadle, and then Q a bit, who died 16th of February 1780, I guess. Sorry about the cable in the way there. Yeah, so it's a mixture of Latin and English. They like their Q a bit, that must be who died. Looking at the context, I've learnt some Latin today, so not every day you can say that.